How about this? An episode of Hermitcraft where we don't actually build the thing that the entire episode is about. Why would we do that? Because I have an even better storage solution than the one that we've been using this season. The issue is I can't exactly rip out everything we've already built and replace it with this other system. Okay then, let's go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft, where today we're doing a thing, but we're not doing a thing, as you know. So this season we have been chipping away at the inventory management issue, trying to find solutions to give us an advantage. And as you can see over here, I haven't done some sorting in a while. I've got lots of leftover shulker boxes from projects, and they're pretty disorganized. But we have made some strides with the help of resource packs and mods to just add something extremely useful, so close to the vanilla game. Some textures on these blocks to remind us what the contents of them are. And my friends, today we take this to a whole new level. We now have a way to make these shulkers right here display textures in the world in front of our eyes like they do inside of the ender chest. And this is actually already possible because when you open the contents of a shulker box, you get the information about what's inside, the name of the box, and then a resource pack can do the magic and display something in the world in front of you. Now there is a slight issue with this idea. When you log into a server and you load the world around you, the server doesn't send you the information about what's inside the shulker boxes. And therefore they have to remain like this. And to be fair, we've done a pretty good job using color to know what's inside of these shulker boxes, but we want to take it to the next level. Now here on Hermitcraft, we're a large group of people. We all have differing opinions about the use of various mods. The general rule is that the world itself needs to remain vanilla. We're not actually adding anything to the world that you can experience yourself through the world download. So with client-side resource packs and mods, we can add our own customizations, a personal preference for how we want to just tweak the experience of Minecraft itself. And this is one of the ones I found to be immensely helpful this season. So with help from Max, who's made many of the amazing mods you see on Hermitcraft, like the proximity voice chat, we have added Peek to the server, and it's been configured to do one simple thing. It will send the additional information that we need about these shulker boxes when we load the world. It'll give us the info so that we can customize how it looks inside of the world, like inside the chest. And what's really cool about this is it doesn't affect anyone who doesn't want to use this. It's not going to change the vanilla experience for any other players in the slightest. So I've reloaded my Minecraft client with the mod installed, and it's been configured the way I like it with resource packs and whatnot. Let's log in and let's just see the difference as the world loads here. Look at it. Isn't it glorious? All of these icons are rendered on top of the shulker boxes. Now at a glance, I know exactly what's in each of these. And this is just amazing for storage. Oh, and this works either based on the name of the shulker box or its contents. If it only has one item type, like the shulker box that I'm holding here, it will then render that one item type onto the front of it, even though I haven't renamed it. In fact, when we look over here, you can see that again, because this one's full of bones, that one's full of obsidian, cornflowers. We got some potions. Oh yeah, I actually have a fix for that apparently I haven't implemented yet. Shulker shells, emeralds, and here's a little Easter egg. This is a texture from the bamboo. Yes, there is bamboo inside. This is the bamboo item, but the bamboo block has this other texture. If we just hop around the corner here, you can see it on the side of the bamboo block. So I am still ironing out some issues with this pack, but dang, isn't that just the most amazing step forward? So again, a big shout out to Henkel for making this mod and providing me with some of these resource packs, as well as Ewan, who made some tweaks and adjustments for me so that this would look the way it does in our ender chest as it does in the world. You see, without this pack, things are rendered a little different, and it just doesn't sit right with me, but it's personal preference at the end of the day. So yeah, we have consistency with what you see up there and what you see in here. And Pete can do a bunch of other things too, like add text to the boxes. So if you want to go deeper on the customization with your own experience, there's a lot to look into with this mod. So now we move to the second phase. With this technology, we obviously want to upgrade how our storage works. We want to take full advantage of this shulker box system. However, when we go down below, we can't really do that because everything is in chests. There is, however, this really nice advantage of just looking in and seeing that shulker boxes full of certain materials have like automatically been labeled with an icon, which is really, really good. The thing is, you still have that step of sort of opening up the chest and looking for the thing that you're looking for, and with these shulker boxes placed in the world, of course, a wall of them would just allow you to see exactly what you're looking for immediately. Oh yeah, and I got no shortage of obsidian. If you missed that episode, well, you need to go back and watch the last one. So as I said, we're not doing the thing this episode is about. But it's about two things actually. We're definitely keeping this, but what I'm not going to do is build a new storage system because this one is very snugly fit into our base. Of course, what we want is a much bigger shulker box display system like this that can do the sorting. A bulk system storage over here has some flaws that could really do with an upgrade, but again, it's snugly fit into this space. And with the insane amount of shulker shells that we have, we don't really need a storage system like this anymore. So, it's time to go into a redstone engineering world and let me show you what I've dreamed up. So, we want to do everything with shulker boxes, and this means after a project we're going to have a whole bunch of junk left over in shulker boxes that needs sorting. The very first thing we want to do is send it through our ender chest system. Then we want to move it into bulk storage. So when all of that cobble and stone has filled up your ender chests, then it's going to go into bulk storage. And then all the sorts of items that don't fit into those bulk categories, they go on to mass storage. Now, Cybot is the author of the shulker box sorter that you've seen this season. It's been in previous seasons of Hermitcraft too. And here we've got a design specifically built for the ender chests. And it's 3x9, the same layout as our shulker box. I mean, ender chest. There's these moments when I'm talking and I'm like, I'm going to say the wrong word, don't say the wrong word, and that was one of them. And just in case this is confusing, I figured a visual representation of moving these over to here would help. And yes, I've spotted an issue with the trident. So the next component is mass storage, which you may prefer to put before this module here, but the thing is we do store materials like diorite and granite, and somewhere around here, yeah, stone and cobble as well, these materials that you tend to accumulate en masse. Now the issue with our previous system is that it would fill up a shulker box and then put it into a chest. So if you had a partially filled shulker box, it wouldn't appear in the chest where you could pull it out until filled up all the way. So we need to remedy this, and as I was thinking about the idea, Xisuma actually posted a video to his channel. Of course, we can pop over there and have a look. It is this, better compressed storage. I will of course leave a link to the video in the description box down below. This concept is fantastic because it will partially fill up these shulker boxes in front of you before then filling them up and putting them into the barrel down below. So that means if the shulker boxes are only partially filled, you'll still be able to access them. Now, of course, we want to see what that looks like with peak enabled. Pretty fantastic, right? I think there's a shading issue with grass, though. It just looks so off to me. But if you pay attention to the spinning box, you'll notice that the texture spins with it, which is just delightful. And again, look at this. You don't even need to think about where the material is. You don't have to remember what color is assigned to what thing, because you can see it directly in front of you. And down here in the barrels too. Yeah, just looks fantastic. Now, when I looked at the marvel of redstone going on behind it, I realized that there is a shulker box unloading system over here, which we wouldn't actually need. At this point, we've already taken care of that. So as I looked at this, I realized it was a little too complicated for our needs. This, though, is just an absolute marvel of redstone going on here, but I needed to simplify it. So I had an absolute blast engineering the design that you see in front of you. However, it is pretty much a stripped down version of this. All of the components I used are in that layout. I just rearranged it for our needs. And I had to show you this, the classic Impulse SV item filter, redesigned with a dropper and a hopper. So when the power goes over the hopper, this item moves up, and then when it unlocks, it drops back down again. It is a really clever way of creating that item filter with different space requirements. Now this is probably easier to understand because this is the filter, right? And then when we go down below it, it's basically a case of all of these hoppers right here backing up all the way, and then they will redirect the items into the barrel, and that'll go across to this side. So when that shulker box is full, the redstone signal here changes from 14 to 15. It passes a signal through which activates this contraption that can then dispense another shulker box into the spot above. The previous shulker box, which is filled up, then lands on the comparator and shuffles its way down to the front here. Now the one thing to point out is at the back I've arranged it like this, so there are hoppers running across each of these segments that will be repeated. And so you could have a large cache of pre-made shulker boxes to feed through to all of these. But if you wanted to be different, you could also just put its own individual supply. And by different, what I mean is basically each of these types color-coded. And so here it is, scaled up. I did a test with all of the different materials, and it was granite that I tested fully, with these ones being filled up. The hoppers behind them are technically full too, and then down here you can see a couple of full boxes made their way through. And another thing to mention is the lamps at the front here. You might actually want to swap these around because when you activate it, it activates the one to the side of it as well. But this would then lock the hopper behind it, meaning the items would get redirected into the back area to load those shulker boxes. I can't really see myself taking advantage of that, so I would probably strip this out and just put a decorative block instead of the lamps and the levers. But anyways, that was the bulk storage for those materials that we get the most of in this game. Everything else goes into mass storage, and this is very similar to what you saw a moment ago. It is a scaled up version of that shulker box sorter that did the 3x9. This one though is 5x26, and we could possibly make it even bigger. When it comes to accessing these in survival, you can reach up and grab the very top one. In fact, you can kind of reach the next block up too. You could also design it so that the platform has a gap at the bottom and you could reach down as well. There is one slight downside with this though. When you break these in survival and the boxes pop off, there is actually a chance that they can sort of land on the ledge of a hopper. But because those hoppers would be locked when you're breaking these shulkers, they don't get picked up by it. So it's not a crazy issue, but if you do get one caught on one of those ledges, it means you need to be able to jump over and pick up your shulker box from the edge of the hopper. So for that reason, it might be a good idea to keep it at this height. So with those three components, we will have the ultimate storage room. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to assemble it here in creative mode so that you can see what the final product will look like. So I knew this would always look like a massive assembly of redstone components, which of course it is. There's all sorts of impressive systems going on back here. But what I did not think about was the interiors. And so as I put all of these systems together, a rather cozy space emerged here on the inside, which has led to me thinking about how other systems could be incorporated inside of here too, like a little brewing area and then maybe a furnace array. So along with the three concepts that I've shown you so far, some other ideas emerged when assembling this together. So you'll start by throwing all of your junk into this chest over here, and before it reaches the shulker boxes for your ender chest, there's a bunch of non-stackable filtering going on over here for potions, as you can see, a secondary system for books, and a third system is just the rest of the non-stackables that get sorted away. At the moment, I've just put, an item in each shulker box to show you what it could look like. And if ever all of these get filled up, there's a little overflow system that'll activate the redstone lamps up the top here. It's pretty impressive and a bit of a last minute idea. As I touched on, we could potentially add some more systems into a version 2 in the future, but let's just go over a couple of things that might not be clear. This isn't automated at all. You might want some storage somewhere to put some shulker boxes full of drops from your various different farms. So this barrel space right here was just left to do that with. And then there's also a wall of empty shulker boxes over here. Maybe you're just organizing stuff into projects. You need a place to store some random shulker boxes that aren't actually a part of the sorting system. As you can see, there is no hoppers behind them. And so last of all, I should probably point out that this system here is simply the same as this one, just wrapped around the corner. And I put in a bunch of items to give you an idea as to how you might organize your base. These ones over here have all the different wood types. And as you can see, we've got some like edge cases with the resource pack to figure out. For example, the texture of the log and the wood block are displayed the same way around. In fact, that one's displayed kind of different. Yeah, there's still plenty of things to be ironed out with this resource pack system. And so in a future season of Hermitcraft, it's likely that I'm going to use this. However, I think it could be iterated on further, as I already touched with the furnace and the brewing stand. But there's other things that you could do as well, like the loom, for example. You could have this in the ground near to where you keep your wall blocks, your sticks, and other things used for making banners. It's all about organization, and we made an absolute massive stride forward with this sorting system and this new technology. So you could consider this a showpiece for the technology. And if you're wondering about this armor stand thing in the middle, well, I kind of figured we could have one of those Cleo armor statue displays. Maybe there's a figurine holding their arms up into the sky, some boxes floating around, something just to focus your eyes on in the middle. So, I have a question for you, but first, I want to make it clear that I'm going to be using this system here on Hermitcraft from now on, and some of the issues with the resource pack are being ironed out by Ewan, so we'll even see some of the shortcomings improved too, which is cool. And I know many of you will want to use this. Unfortunately, it's kind of in an experimental stage. It requires multiple resource packs and a bunch of configurations, but I will be trying to make this a public thing that you can use too. Of course, I'll keep you informed as things progress, but going back to that question, are you okay with the shorter episode length like we've had today? I've had it stuck in my head for the longest time that episodes should be 20 minutes long, and then recently had this idea of like, why don't I just focus on the one thing that I'm doing, as opposed to showing you a bunch of other stuff like I've been stocking up my shops and making tons of diamonds, right? I just wanted to make this episode about this one thing. So let me know what you think of that concept down below, and maybe our future episodes won't aim for that 20-minute marker and just be exactly about what they're about. And so with that, it's the end of the episode. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Thank you as always for your support, peeps, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye bye.